it's Jean from Lizzie Jean's Artistic Chaos. I'm so glad that you are visiting with me today. I have a cool little experiment that I kind of came across when I was working on my ATCs for the 100 days of ATCs. I kind of am doing 100 ATCs. I seem to be behind on the days. It's just, life gets in the way. But my idea with that was to come in here and spend a particular amount of time just on some art form. So I will get back to that on time, I'm sure, today. But what I wanted to share with you, and this is actually something that I came across when I was making an ATC background today. So the first thing I am going to do for my ATC background is I'm going to cut out from this is actually a photography book that I got let me see how big this picture is. I think it'll be okay. I got it probably at the secondhand shop, Goodwill, something like that. So it's called The Art of Photographing Nature, Martha A. Hill. But it has some really beautiful color, glossy, amazing images in it. And one of the ones I liked was of this sunset with the tree. So I'm going to take my ATC and I'm just going to back it or put this on it. And I'm just using my Walmart glue stick. These glue sticks are amazing, and it's good to get them when the kids go back to school because they sometimes go on clearance if they're leftovers, and they're really good glue. Also, they work really well. So, I just have the skinny ones for now, but that's okay. All right, I'm going to cut this out just on my, it's just an ATC blank. So I adhered it to that, and then going to round off the edges as I'm trimming it. So it'll be just a second. I don't want to cut the card blank itself. So once we do the process that I'm going to show you, it won't make a whole lot of difference. So here's the front of the card. So we get the edge of the tree and a really pretty sunset. Now, I purchased at the Dollar Tree a set of, I think they're called, they don't have, oil pastels, I believe. They're just really cheap. Oil pastels, bright color assortment, it says. For decorating and crafting use only. And I was trying to see if it told me the ingredients, but I know from my little experiment that I did that it does have wax properties. So I'm looking here at these colors, and I have a gray, which is really pretty. So I'm going to chop off some gray with my X-Acto knife. And I want some other colors to go with that. So I'm going to use the pink. I'm going to use this pink. It doesn't really say what color pink it is, but we're going to use this pink. Let me see, do they have a peach in here? When you get colors from the Dollar Tree, you don't always you know, you don't always get the colors that you want, but I'm going to use this pink. I'm not sure if I have too much, but we'll see in a minute. And then I want to use a third color. So I think I'm going to use the blue, but I'm going to wait just a moment on that. So I have placed on top of my ATC some pieces of oil pastel, and this is pink and gray so far. I don't know. I don't think I want to use yellow, so there is like, maybe I will use orange, so I will check. Now I'm going to use my heat gun for a moment, and I just want you to watch what happens to the oil pastels. And no, blowing away is not what I want them to do. So let me see if I can keep them from blowing away. Okay, so as you can see, by me tilting the ATC and heating up the oil pastel, it makes this cool wax situation going on here on the actual ATC card. So I need to add another color to it, and I think I am going to use the blue because I think the orange might not show up enough for what I want. So I'm going to put the blue down here at the bottom. Hopefully it will stay near the bottom. And I'm going to heat this up again, and we'll see how the blue interacts with the other colors, because it's not metallic-y by any means, but it's a really cool color. Okay, I think that was a good choice, although once it dries, which it dries super quick, I think the gray will show up a little bit more. But I really like this, and I like the idea that there's still some places that don't have the actual wax on it. So I'm going to let this dry for just a second, and then I'm using a stencil today that was designed by Rhonda, Dohna, for pmartiststudio.com. PM Artist Studio has some live streams that they do weekly, and they do really creative things with the gel plate. And I've learned a lot from them, and I love their stencils. They're made out of a Yupo, so when you apply the paper to the stencil, it's not bulky. It's like the stencil, the paper, the gel plate just kind of meld together, and you're getting a nice smooth print. And if you go over to the pmartist.com website, they have so many different stencils, so many great designers, and what you guys can do is put in an order, and as you order, you get points that you accumulate for your order. Sometimes they have double points, so check back periodically, like around the holidays or special events. And you can really rack up some points and get discounts then when you make your following order, which is really nice. Another great thing about PM Artist Studio are the actual owners of the company, mainly Patricia and Mariah. They are mother and daughter. They are a mom and pop, so to speak, business. So they run everything out of their home. And if you have the opportunity to support them either by purchasing something or by watching their streams on YouTube, I'm sure you will have a lot of fun. They are a fun group to work with, but also the people that are in the chat are fun as well. So I often repost it so you can find the link, but PM Artist Studio on YouTube. And this is called Petal Tear Burst. So I think our wax is pretty dry. So I'm going to add some color to this. There's a color I've been wanting to use, and I think it will kind of pick up, even if it picks up some of this red, I'm okay with it. But this is a light blue violet, and I really like this color. It kind of reminds me of a crayon that I always liked that was called Periwinkle. And I want to add some type of metallic to it. So I'm going to add some silver. This is just Liquitex Basics. This one is, both of these are opaque. I might have a transparent, I'm not sure. But I'm just going to roll these out together because I want this blue gold kind of look, which that jean is way too much paint. So let me get a piece of paper to roll off here. You get too much, the paint amount is something you really have to kind of learn to work with, but I can usually tell because of the puckering that I'll get on the ink inside the shapes. So I love this color, and it'll be cool for the roll-off, so that's not a problem. Now I'm going to take my ATC, and I'm just going to press it down anywhere on the gel plate. Now, I did do this previously, and I'll show you guys in a moment, but when you press down your ATC that you have melted your crayons on, your oil pastels, you want to keep in mind that it's going to feel like it's cracking. and it hasn't cracked completely off for me, so hopefully that part will be okay. I'm going to lift this up and I'm going to show you. You can see what happens. So that paint lays right on top of the wax. And even though I could feel the cracking from the back, it didn't fall off, is what I'm trying to say. So this is the one that I did previously. And I used the same stencil. You can see it very well right here around the green area because I used red. And it looks really cool. I like things that have that green patina in it. So this was the first one that I did. And that was my first experiment. And then this is the second one, which I'm actually going to, if I can find a baby wipe here. I think I'm going to take a little bit of the stencil off. Let's see. Meaning the off of here. Okay, so yes, you can wipe some of it off. So let me just be selective where I do that. I'm wondering what will happen. We can always print this again. I'm wondering if it will stay. I'm just going to take that part off. And I'm going to wipe some off up here on the top that didn't have. That's the part that didn't get the wax. So I'm going to lighten this up. Actually, kind of wiping it off makes it look more interesting. I want something still on this side though, so where is that? I'm not sure if this still pick it up, but it should. Okay. So after it dries a little bit and you kind of pat it, it will pick up some of that paint, especially where the wax was, and then your wax will show through more. And if you want to go in at the actual petals, you can. So I think that came out pretty cool. We'll let it dry and we'll see. And then we'll try another one. So for this one, I am going to, let's see, what kind of, these starfish are amazing. So let me do the starfish. Get a glue stick, glue this on. We'll try this one more time and see how it picks up the color. I'm wondering if I should do the starfish or the trees. Since there's so many starfish, I think I'm actually going to do the trees. And I'll save the starfish for something else. I love these starfish though. They're really cool. Sometimes, you know, because obviously we can't see below the ocean on a regular basis, we don't realize the beautiful colors that can be seen in the ocean. Unless you have one of those lamp fish that go around shining its lamp, trying to attract critters. Those things are cool. They have that smart idea all worked out about catching critters. Okay, so let me make sure these corners are rounded because that will bug me if they're not. this is a cool green color, and I think if we add some interesting pastel colors, we will get a really interesting background. So let me save this wipe in case we need it again. All right, I want to use some yellow. This yellow, this is probably the gold, but I'm going to use the yellow. On the mellow yellow. Okay, use yellow first. And then on top of that, we'll use some green. Now this is green. This is more of a teal. I think I'm going to use the teal. I think that's what I used before that got that pretty patina. So let me use some teal. And let's melt those first. And then I might add in some of this. It's kind of like a brownish, copperish color. It's really cool. Okay, so here goes the heat gun again. Let me see if I can keep this from running away. Okay, I love the way that's looking. Let me hold it up for you. Now, the yellow kind of got obliterated. So I'm going to add some of this other, like a gold color, and see how that mixes with it. I'm used to doing it this way because that's how I peel potatoes. My husband laughs at me how I peel potatoes, but that's how I grew up, peeling potatoes with a knife, not with a peeler. So, and you know, today is Mixed Media Monday, so this is a great project for Mixed Media Monday. I'm actually going to use these as backgrounds for my APC. going to get my tweezers because this gets a little on the hot side. I just don't want a tweezer. Okay, I think that looks pretty cool. It actually, if we remember what the background was like previously, the trees in the forest on the hill there, this is looking a lot like those colors. So that is, I'm not sure about this one. I have to think what color I would use. Maybe I would use gold. A gold to put on top of that, maybe. Let's see. And I'll tell you my rhyme or reason for using the gel plate with the stamped image or the stenciled images. And it's basically because I want to get a way for this wax to kind of be covered and sealed, and hopefully when I decorate on top of it, it's not going to fall off. So let me just make sure this is nice and dry. And I just put a layer of gold right on top. I'm wondering where I put my red. So I have always been opposed to the color red. Actually, maybe the orange, if I can find it. But I'm noticing artistically, red is a very, very cool color. So I have used it, and I like it. And I like that orange I have, and I probably put it in the other one. Let me see. Okay, let's put a little bit of this orange. Just a tiny bit, because I still want to be able to see some of the... Okay, and I think our page should be fine. Our ATC should be fine. I think I'm going to put it maybe like this, so I can get some of the gold and some of the orange. And I'm just pressing it down and holding it on here for like 30 seconds, just so it has time to print on there. And it did print very, you can see the gold. My lighting is not too super today. You can see the gold. Let me try over here. Oops, my paper's coming off. Okay. So this is picking up, which is kind of interesting, some of the original colors that were on the plate now, because I've used so many layers. And here I lost a piece of the wax that didn't completely melt. So make sure when you're doing this that you are allowing your pastels to completely melt. And then on top of that, you are taking care to glue it down properly. For some reason, the glue decided to come off. And that could be because of the heat gun, that it'll melt your glue. So you may have to reapply. And then because I had different layers on there, I went back and I pressed this down in a couple different places. So you have some time, depending on how fast your paint dries, to go back in particular areas and just pull some more of the color if the paint is not too wet. Let me try this a little bit more of this gold on here. I want to see if I can get it to print some goldy color on the edge of this where the screen is. So this is a nice fall background. Now these ATCs are for myself for my 100 days. So I'm not worrying about the backs right now. Okay, so here's what we have. We have the gold showing. Down here we have the orange, and I think it's just really cool how it stamps right over the wax. And then the wax is kind of sealed, so if you want to later go back and add an image, whatever that image might be, you have the option of doing that and creating a really interesting piece. Now, my stencil has been down here a long time, so it picked up some of the residual paint, but I'm just going to let that dry and then I'll go back over it. Isn't it pretty, the different colors? Really cool. So I'm anxious to see what I get with that. But here are our ATCs that we did. This is the blue and pink one. This is the green foresty one. And this is my original one. So just a little experiment that I thought was fun to do. And I needed to create some ATC backgrounds. So let me know if you try it in the comments. You'd be surprised at what using mediums will do when you use them for something that's not exactly the purpose for it. So try it out, let me know, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for stopping by. You all have a lovely day.